In this problem, we're solving the famous roller coaster physics problem, finding the minimum height to make it through a loop on the roller coaster without falling off. Except there's a complication. Now it's a little more realistic, and it's a ball bearing on here. And a ball bearing is a solid sphere, and you can no longer ignore the rotational energy in that sphere that's going to impact the calculation. So to solve the roller coaster problem, you have to deal with figuring out what does it mean to barely make it through the loop. And I'll go ahead and post a link to the video where I showed this. But the idea is that the normal force becomes zero right at the top of the loop. So we know the normal force is minimum at the top. And if we make that minimum zero, it means this thing is going to just, for one instant, lose contacts, and then the normal force will be bigger again. So that's how you barely make it through the loop. Just reviewing the analysis real quick. If the normal force is zero at that top point, then it means mg is entirely responsible for supplying the centripetal force. I'll go ahead and show my velocity vector there. And I do some circular motion physics here. I apply Newton's second law and I say F net equals ma. But the net force here is just mg because my normal force vanishes. My acceleration is related to speed and the radius of curvature here. And I end up with a speed at the top, if I barely make it through a loop, of root gr. But I'm going to go ahead and put in the radius here as d over 2 because d is our given quantity. All right, so next I'm going to get into my energy analysis. And as this ball rolls down the track, it's going to pick up two different types of energy. It's translational energy and it's rotational energy. And there's an extra point that I need to consider, and that's that the ball is rolling without slipping. And there's a relationship between the linear and rotational speed for rolling without slipping that I derived in a prior video. I'll post a link to that real quick. But as it turns out, the speed of the center of mass is equal to r omega, where r is the radius of the ball. We often turn this around when we're applying it, and we say that the angular speed is the translational speed divided by r. So you may have noticed we weren't given the radius of the ball, and we're hopeful that it will cancel out. So let's get into our energy analysis. E initial is equal to E final. In my initial state, I have a gravitational potential energy of mgh. In my final state, I still have some gravitational potential energy. It's mgd. And I have two types of kinetic energy. So I have 1/2 m v center of mass squared, so the speed of the ball squared, plus a 1/2 I omega squared for the rotational energy term. So you have to remember that the moment of inertia for a solid ball is 2/5 mr squared, and I'll go ahead and plug that in. And while I'm at it, I'm going to replace omega with v center of mass over r using the rolling without slipping condition. And when I square that, the r's cancel out, so that's good news. We didn't need the radius of the ball. I also notice every term has an m in it, so the answer is not dependent on the mass of the ball. Okay, I'm trying to solve for h here, so things are lined up really nicely right from the beginning. I'm just going to simplify everything on the right-hand side as far as I can, and we should be able to solve for it. I can factor a v center of mass squared out of these kinetic energy terms, and I end up with a 1/2 plus a 1/5. In the next line, I'm going to go ahead and plug in what the speed is at the top of the loop, using this fact about the speed if I'm barely making it through the loop. So when I square that, I get gd over 2. And then combining the fractions in these parentheses, that's 5/10 and 2/10. That's 7/10. And now I notice the g's cancel out. So you can run this experiment on Mars and it will still work. And I end up with a height of d plus a 7/20 d. So that's 20/20 plus 7/20. So 27/20 times d. So I want to relate this to the original roller coaster problem we did, where we had a cart that was just translating, so there was no rotational energy in it. And I'll post a link to that real quick. And the result we got for that was minimum height to make it through the loop was a 5/2 times the radius, or 5/4 times the diameter of the loop. And just for the purpose of comparison, I want to change that to a denominator of 20, So I multiply by 5 over 5 and I get 25 over 20 times the diameter. So what changed? Now the speed of our object is a little bit less than it was before because some of the energy is pumped into the rotational system. So I've got to go a little bit higher. It's 27/20 times the diameter of the loop to guarantee that I make it to this minimum speed to get through the loop, because some of that energy got used up just in the spinning of the ball. If you find the physics content on Zach's Lab helpful, click on the Zach's Lab logo on the right to browse playlists and subscribe to the channel. I produce over 100 new videos per month, and subscribing is the easiest way to find new content. Thanks for watching.